All right, perfect. Okay. It is our last day of gratitude week, y'all. And the first thing that I got to say is thank you. I got to say thank you to everybody that participated, whether you did every day or whether you just participated in some days. If you caught on to this and you caught on to it a little bit later than everybody else, that's okay too. That's fine, as long as you jump in there and you practice gratitude, then you can still see some of the results and some of the benefits of just being grateful for things. And so today's our last day, and today is all about just saying thank you to every person that has subscribed to me over this past week. I haven't looked at the numbers exactly, but I think that over this past week I got 30 new subscribers, which is wild. Like 30 new subscribers in 1 week is just something that I have never experienced before. Outside of like maybe a couple of years ago when I had that video that went viral. I was able to shout out some creators that I felt like deserve some shine, that deserve some recognition. I was able to connect and say thank you to some people, like my day ones, the people that's been down and just been supporting and just involved in what I do, like to my community. I've felt so much. I felt so much joy. Hey heroes, I felt so much joy and just like optimism and just having a new perspective on being a creator and just being able to be in a place where I may not be where I want to be, but I have so much to be grateful for already. Like I know that I'm moving in the right direction. I know that the things that I'm doing are making a difference. They matter. I know that I am gaining momentum. Thank you for tapping the screen, Siv. I know that I'm gaining momentum. I know that I'm continuously finding where I fit, like where I belong. And I just wanted to make sure that I came on the last 2 days. I did not go live. Actually only been one day. So yesterday I didn't go live for gratitude week. And I felt like I let y'all down. But thank you for I didn't go live, but I still posted and I gave a shout out to three creators that I feel are underrated. So if you are already subscribed to me on YouTube, then you definitely want to make sure that you are checking out those creators because they're dope. They're dope creators and everybody should be following them. Thank you, Mask. Everybody should be following them. So but it that like even that part in and of itself made me think about a couple of things. So just to give like a quick recap, this has been 7 days. We started on Monday, and every day we have been creating content about what we're grateful for. And so every day had a different activity, and we did things from shouting out like what you've grown, how you've grown by using the platform. We've talked about thank you, Suvlux. We've talked about who we're inspired by and creators that inspire us. We've talked about what else did we cover? Three underrated creators that people should know about. We talked about just overall what you've been able to do and how you've grown as a creator. And today is just like a wrap up of all of those things and saying thank you. And so I'm going to go through and I'm going to take some more screenshots, but I do have a couple already, just even from this week. And the reason why I was doing this, y'all, is because I felt like gratitude was like the missing piece to what we want, how we want to grow, how we want to attract positivity and goodness, how we want to see some momentum, and how we want to see change in what we're doing. And I feel like that's happened. So here's a couple of the things that I have as like takeaways and what I feel like I'm going to incorporate more as I go along this journey. Okay. So one of my favorite parts about gratitude week this week has been being able to show that I am influential. I'm influential. Like the things, the people I talk about, the products that I talk about, the things that I suggest that people do, people are listening to me, they're watching me, they're taking my advice, they're buying those products. And this is something that I've realized even earlier on in my career as a creator. Hey friend, hey Amina. Early on in my time as a creator, I started to pick up on the fact that when I suggested like products to people, I would literally see them following those pages. I saw how I literally like connect people together. Hey, Adriana, how I can like connect people together, how I have resources that people may not know about, or maybe they know that they need it, but they don't know who to go to. Like I've noticed how like that's the type of effect that I have. Hey, Eve. Happy Sunday. That's the kind of effect that I have. And so that was something that, even though it wasn't like huge numbers and huge swarms of people going and supporting a product, that was like that little seed, that little like nod to let me know, oh, I'm actually moving in the right direction. I'm an influencer. I've influenced people. Thank y'all for helping me get to 1,000 taps. Y'all are over there tapping it up. Who is that, Sev? Thank you for tapping the screen. I'm able to see that I am influential. And so doing something like this and taking that time to recognize, hey, actually people are paying attention to what you say, they're watching what you do, and it's making a difference, it's making an impact. That was something that was really big and keeping me motivated to keep going. And the reason why I'm sharing this is not to just like talk about myself, y'all, but like it's really to show you how sometimes you got to go a little bit smaller to encourage yourself to keep going. Because one thing that I said at the beginning of this challenge that I noticed was a big deal is how people were, it felt like people were just discouraged, like it felt like people were just like down, and rightfully so, understandably so, right? Like I get it, like I'm not blind to what's happening, but being able to see that we can still find some light, we can still find some joy, we can still encourage ourselves even when the world is chaotic. That's something that's important, because as creatives, as artists, we have a special gift of being able to help the world heal, to be able to help the world see different perspectives, to help the world to connect to one another, to bring people together, to show that we have more in common than we do differences, that we can heal, that we are seen, that we are heard, that there are people that are thinking about us, that care about us, that we matter. Like that's what we're able to do as creatives, as artists, which is what we're able to bring to the world. And if we're so bogged down by life, we're not going to want to create. We're not going to want to show up. We're going to want to hide. We're going to want to go and just like dip out and just check out for a little bit. And not to say that we don't still need those moments where we just like take a break, or just like, pour into ourselves, but just thinking that like what we do really does make a bigger impact than we realize. And knowing that something as simple as just being grateful for what you have and recognizing how far you've already come is a powerful tool to encourage you to keep doing it. Like, keep doing that. Keep showing up. This is working. This is helping. That like, that comment, that share, that save, the person putting your thing into favorites, that person that bought your digital product, that person that inquired about your services. All of these are signs that you are moving in the right direction, even when it doesn't feel like it's happening at the level that you wanted to. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's the kind of stuff that we have to do to keep us going, because those small things lead to bigger things, lead to even bigger things, and it just multiplies and it grows. But it's always going to start small. Like, it's going to start small. Like, that's the point of growing and evolving. So I love that we were able to participate in this, and that's something that I want to keep going. Like, I want to keep that same energy. I want to keep that same mentality, and I want to make sure that it's something that I'm aware of and I'm putting into practice throughout. Because at any moment, it could be easy to be like, "Nah, I'm good," and dip out again. Oh, we're at 2,000 likes. Thank you, Sylv. Still tapping. Still tapping. I appreciate you. And so that's what I'm realizing. Like, that's what I'm recognizing about this gratitude week exercise. And so the first thing, let me go back just to repeat it. Everybody that's coming in, welcome. Happy Sunday, y'all. I'm just recapping our gratitude week and why it was so important, because I just feel like I can keep doing this. I can keep going. And hmm I was thinking about the fact that, okay, because I love that I can tie numbers into this. So when I started gratitude week, I want to say, like, I think I was legit like around like 715, 715 subscribers. 715, maybe like 720 subscribers. And today, the last time I checked, I think I'm at 745 subscribers. And this was like literally in a week long time span. I've had a huge jump in my subscribers just during that time. And I don't know for sure that it's necessarily tied to the gratitude content, but I just feel like because that's the place that I was at and that's the mentality that I was operating with, that I attracted it. Like, I just feel like I attracted it. And I don't even know what else to say about it, y'all. Like, I just feel like it was like people could feel the joy and the optimism and the hope that I was putting out into the world. And it just feels good. And so, um, the first thing again, getting my thoughts together. The first thing again that I want to say is that this whole practice of gratitude is something that I'm going to continue and keep as a part of what I do. Like, how can I incorporate gratitude more consistently in my content journey as a creator, as a person, for real. But since we're talking about content right now, we're talking about social media. How can I incorporate gratitude into my social media practice? That's the first thing. The second thing is looking at what type of things do I want to include going forward that I know felt good to be able to do. And that thing was being able to shout out other creators. And honestly, like, it brought to my mind like a couple of different ideas that I want to try to execute. And I'll share those at a later time, just because I want to do it first before I start talking about it. That's something that I had to like get into the habit of doing. Is anybody else like that too? Where you gotta start doing it first before you tell a bunch of people about it, just in case, just in case. Because sometimes once I talk about it, it feels like I did it already and I didn't. So I gotta make sure that it's something that I actually execute on first before I talk about it. But I know that is the way that it's gonna go. Is it's going to incorporate is going to incorporate giving other people a platform as well. Like, that's the part that I know for sure is going to happen. I know that one of the things that I enjoy being able to do is using my platforms to help bring other people up too. And so, what does that look like to make content like that? What does it look like for that to be something that I do intentionally? Thank you for tapping, Empress. What does it look like to do that intentionally? What does it look like to do that in a way where people know to expect it? And I started thinking about people like, I see you tapping again. I started thinking about people like Tabitha Brown. Yeah, I lose motivation to do it sometimes when I talk about it too much. Yeah, nah, you definitely get it, Seth. I gotta start doing it first. Then I can tell you what it's like as I'm doing it. Like, that's always like a better flow. And so I think about people like Tabitha Brown, how she had her very good Fridays. And I think that she still does them now, but it was a part of like her consistent routine to promote Black businesses. Like people could send in their products and she would review them, and she would use her platform to shout out other businesses, to shout out their products, to talk about what they look like. And that was a really good way to increase visibility for these businesses. And I love the fact that it wasn't something that she just did every once in a while, but it was like a part of her regular programming. Like it was a part of the regular schedule to create content that's specifically designed to promote other businesses, to promote other entrepreneurs, to put their products in front of some new people. And that's what I'm talking about. Like that's what I want to do. And I think that it's one of those things that I've definitely talked about in the past, but I just didn't stick with it. Like I just didn't actually execute it. But it's another one of those things, y'all. I want to actually do it this time. Hey, Kuma, what's up? I'm doing this is the last day of gratitude week. So it's day 7. And so I'm giving like my recap of how it went and what it means moving forward. And so I want to encourage everybody to think about what it looks like for you to practice gratitude like on a regular basis, or on a consistent basis. You know, like it doesn't have to be something that you do every day. Like it doesn't have to be as intense as a gratitude week. But hey, soul of a man, it doesn't have to be as intense as a gratitude week. However, I do think that it is more impactful and more powerful when it's something that you can do and at a consistent pace, you know, like something that people can expect. So I want to make it a part of what I do, to make it a part of my regular programming, to just like give other people a platform and a space to be elevated, to be promoted, to be discussed, to meet new people. I want to be able to make new connections. And I think the only thing that I would have to like plan out is what I want that to look like. Like, what does that look like as content? And so, like I said, I have some ideas. I have some ideas. Um, and y'all just be praying for me that I don't make it more complicated than it has to be. Like that's what I need from y'all. Okay. I would appreciate it if y'all just keep me in your thoughts and your prayers, that I don't make this more complicated. I'm enjoying expressing gratitude. I'm so glad. I am so glad. It's so simple. Like I really think that we don't think about how simple it could be, basically, like how simple it is. One of the things that I did this last week is I shouted out 3 creators that I feel like are underrated. And one of those creators, his name is Gil, and I've talked about him before. He does this thing called a 5-minute podcast, and it was such a dope concept to me, because if you think about it, like if you go to like a networking event, or if you go to an event that's like more professional, and you know how they sometimes do like those mini photo shoots, or you where you can get like some headshots, and he's taken like that. It's like that same concept, but instead of it just being pictures, it's a podcast. So you get this 5-minute time frame to either be interviewed or to talk about your business, and then you get that content. Like it's a part of like one of the activities at these events. And so when I found out that he did that, I connected with him, and I was like, I really like that what you do, and I asked him some questions about it, and we ended up getting on a consultation, because I like couldn't stop talking about how cool this idea was. I was like, I love this, and I also want to steal this idea. I think it's just so smart to have like a 5-minute podcast. And so we got on a consultation call, and I was asking him basically like what type of equipment would I need in order to have my own podcast. Like I wanted to do like an outdoor thing, and I wanted to interview people. And so I was asking him what would I need, and so he gave me some really good advice, and then he also gave me all these tips about like different things that you can do with CapCut, which I thought was so helpful because there were some things that I didn't know that CapCut was capable of doing. And there's just something about knowing that there are people who have way more like technical skills when it comes to cameras and editing than I do, but they still use CapCut too. Like that just validated me in a way that I didn't know that I needed. I was like, oh, if you use CapCut, then I'm using what the professionals use. Like I felt official. So when he told me that, I just thought it was just such a really enjoyable consultation. It was very helpful, very informative. And this is something that he does on a consistent basis on his YouTube channel. So his YouTube channel is all about camera equipment, different editing things, microphones, like all the tech stuff. He has all the information that you need about it. And the great thing that about Gil is that you can take his advice whether you're advanced or whether you're a beginner. Like he helps people at all levels when it comes to film, like editing video content, stuff like that. And I when I found out that he had this whole channel, he gives all this information, he does reviews on all the equipment you could think of, he introduces you to stuff that you didn't even know that you needed, like all these dope things. And I was like, this is a creator that I definitely feel like more people need to know about. And so that's another reason why when I found out about his idea, I just like I kept talking about it. Like I kept shouting it out. And just like being able to mention him again, shout him out. He actually responded to the post that I made talking about him and sharing him on YouTube. And for me, like that meant a lot because I've talked about a couple of people throughout these last 7 days. And given the people that I talked about, some of them are like much bigger creators and they probably get like so many different mentions. I've learned that there are some creators who have turned off the ability to actually be mentioned. So you can't physically like tag them, like you can't at them. You have to, I had to like use their URL, so I couldn't even just like tag them. And so I wasn't necessarily expecting them to see my stuff and be like, "Oh, thank you for this." But it's just nice to know that like people are great, like they're grateful for the fact that you're even putting them in front of a new audience regardless of the size of that audience. And like that's the kind of stuff that I really admire and respect when people are just like genuinely grateful for the small things, like mentioning me, shouting out my business, talking about me in rooms that I'm not in, mentioning me in something that you feel like would be useful, or maybe mentioning me to someone who might need what I do. When people share my content on other platforms, like all those kinds of things, they may seem small to you, but to me they're just like it means a lot. Like it means a lot that somebody would take the time out of their day not only to engage with my content but to share it with other people. Like that's the kind of stuff that if you really think about just like the small things like that, and to understand that people don't have to do this but they do, it's dope. And I appreciate the fact that he responded and expressed his gratitude for me expressing my gratitude. It just made me even more grateful. So it felt good that it was recognized. I wasn't doing it for the recognition, but again, it doesn't change the fact that it felt good. It felt good. So just being able to do things like that, introducing people to people that they didn't know that they needed, they didn't know they needed to know, all of that has been incredible. And I'm just again looking forward to being able to continue to do more stuff like that. um I'm thinking like what that would look like. I don't know what that would look like soon, but I've got some stuff coming up, y'all. I've got some stuff coming up. So if you did participate in Gratitude Week, I would love to hear your experience with it. And if you didn't participate in Gratitude Week with me, but you want to try it for yourself, I would highly recommend that you give it a try. Like real life, I would suggest giving Gratitude Week a try. And I'm not just saying that because, it's me and it's something that I'm doing and I just think it's the greatest thing ever. I do think it's great though. Okay. Doesn't change that at all. But because I really do believe that um this is one of the few ways that we can counter all of the like negativity and tragedy and just like the traumatic things that have been happening. I feel like this is one of our ways to fight back. Like this is one of our ways to um maintain our hope and maintain our peace, maintain our humanity. There's so many things that like I don't really necessarily speak on that I feel are just like so out of pocket. One of the biggest things, I wasn't expecting to go here, y'all, but like roll with me for a second on this, okay? Because I actually do really have like strong feelings about this that I feel need to be expressed. So, one of the things that I'm realizing is like severely lacking is empathy. Like we don't have even like just like the basic understanding, or like not even understanding but like the basic acknowledgement of other people's humanity, like just on a very basic level, interacting and engaging with people as human beings is just not happening. It's not happening. Like we're not seeing one another at our essence, at our core. We're not like connecting with people in a way where we're able to empathize and understand how they feel. Oh, hey James, empathy is so needed, but not being used today enough. Yeah, I mean, it's appalling. Like, and when you look at what's happening and you see what people are doing to one another, how we're treating one another, it's just so it's everyone is really like looking out for themselves, and there's nothing wrong with taking care of yourself, protecting yourself, because that's what you're supposed to do. But it's gotten to the point where it's just like where how are we treating other human beings this way? I'm laughing, but it's not funny. Like, how are we treating other human beings like this? And that's why, like, when I first started this out, I was saying that we have so much more in common than we do different, but we focus so heavily on the differences that we can't even come to a common ground on anything. Like, it just feels like there's so much division, and it doesn't help when it doesn't help when the ones who are in charge, when the leaders don't even acknowledge the humanity of the people that they're called to lead. Like, you're not willing to look at the people that you're supposed to serve and that you're supposed to protect and that you're supposed to consider. You're not even looking at them as humans. You're not considering them at all in what you do. And to be able to be a leader in any capacity and not care about the people that you're leading is, I mean, I just don't even understand how that's possible. But it is that made me think about something else that I forgot. But anyway, that's what I've been realizing. And I feel like gratitude, in a weird way, it helps you to be more empathetic. Like, it helps you to think about others. It helps you to consider more than just yourself. It helps you to recognize that what you do in the world actually makes a difference and it makes an impact, which again is not necessarily thinking about others, but it does help you feel better. It makes you want to continue to do it. It makes you want to be even more gracious and being more grateful and being more appreciative and being more willing to consider others. And that's one of the things that I that's why I'm going so hard on this concept. Like, if you are feeling like you want to feel like you have a reason for being here, and you want to feel like what you're doing matters and it makes a difference, then you really should be doing this gratitude week for yourself. Like, take the chance, give it an opportunity to just see how you feel if you spend the next 7 days practicing gratitude and expressing that gratitude to others, and seeing what it does differently and how it impacts your life. And come back to me. One of the other things that I'll say about it is that if you do take this gratitude challenge for yourself, you automatically have 7 days of content. You have 7 days of content. So if you get up every day and you're like, I don't know what I'm going to post, I don't know what to do, I don't know how to show up here. If you take this gratitude challenge, I have mapped out 7 days of content. Okay. And this content anybody can do, no matter what kind, no matter what kind of content you make, you can participate in this gratitude challenge. And again, see how it works out. The worst case scenario, you consistently post it for 7 days. And best case scenario, it ends up being one of the best things you've done all year. And it changes your perspective. It introduces you to new people. And it makes you want to keep doing it and practicing it. So that's my thing. That's my little spiel, y'all. Again, I'm grateful for everybody that participated in it. If you do decide to give it a try, because you're just now figuring out about it, then make sure that you tag me when you post your gratitude post, and I will repost it. Even though we're not, hey Angel, even though we're not currently in gratitude week anymore, you can still do it, and I will still repost your content. Because I believe that if you're already posting like positive things and good things, then it deserves to be shared, and so that's what I'm gonna do. But yeah, y'all, that's it. That's what I got. Thank you for tapping, Angel. Let's see. I'm gonna think about some announcements since we're here. I next this Friday, this upcoming Friday, we are going to have our Fashion 101 class. It's going to be our second class of the series. And we are going to be talking about emotional style patterns. And I know y'all don't know what that is yet, but that's okay, because I'm gonna learn you. Okay. I'm gonna learn you something, and you're gonna know exactly what I'm talking about. Thank you. I did a tutorial on it too, y'all. I did a tutorial on my hair. That's another update, some more news. The tutorial for this is up, and when I take these down, my hair is going to be like in those springy curls that everybody likes so much. So this is how I do it. Um but yeah, we're going to have our Fashion 101 next class. If you missed class, yes, definitely check it out. If you missed class last Friday, it's okay. The replay is up on my channel. Okay. So y'all go to my channel, make sure y'all subscribe, and you can go and watch the first lesson. Y'all, it was so good. Oh my goodness. It was such a good class. Like, it was such a good class. We talked about so many different things. I'm trying to think off the top of my head, but I can't remember what it is right now. I apologize. Go watch the replay, and then you'll see what I'm talking about. But it was an introduction. This is the workbook that we're using. It's called the Own Your Style Journal, which is a style journal that I created to help you to create your personal style, to help you discover and own your personal style. And so there's some different things, different steps that are in here. This is what we've been going through for the class. So if you decide that you want to get this for yourself, then you can go to my bio and you can get your copy, the digital copy, not the physical one. The physical one, if people want the physical copy, then I'll work on getting that back up again. But the digital version is probably going to be most people's preference. So you can get this copy. It's in my bio. And it's only $10. So $10 to change your style is nothing. Okay. Nothing. Especially when you see how people glow up after this. I'm so excited about this, y'all. Oh, I'm so excited about this. But anyway, your the next class is going to be on Friday at 1 Eastern time. It's Fashion Fridays, so you can't forget, okay? Fashion Fridays at 1 is that's when class is in session. So if you ever need to remember Fashion Fridays, 1 o'clock Eastern. That's where we're gonna go to develop our personal style. Um, something that I want to make sure that I mention just one more time because I didn't talk about this in my video, and maybe I will, but the thing that's different about the way that I do style than what you've heard is that there's a couple of things that makes it different than what you've usually heard. The first one being that I help style people from the inside out. All right. I don't believe in just like putting people in clothes that they don't understand why they're wearing them. They can't connect or articulate it. And I also know that there are certain things that you have gone through in your life. There's certain ways that you think. There's certain things that impact your style or the style that you may not have just yet that I am willing to address because I have an understanding of that. So that's something that a lot of people don't really talk about or get into the why behind it all. They just tell you to put stuff on, right? So we talk about something called emotional style patterns, which I told y'all we're going to get into on Friday, this upcoming Friday. But your emotional style patterns can make you somebody who is an overdresser, or maybe somebody who is constantly trying to like overachieve, and or maybe you're somebody who doesn't care at all about fashion. It'll address that too. So it explains a lot of different things. And so like that's like one of the biggest things that stands out from how most people talk about fashion. Now, the second thing that I do that's different that you have not heard about, um, you probably never heard about it, but if you have, then it's not a lot of people that talk about this, is your style personality and how it has nothing to do with your body type. So I don't talk about how to achieve an hourglass look. I don't talk about how to I don't talk about how to like dress for a pear shape. I don't talk about your body type at all. Like at all. And if I do, it's very minimal only because you're dressing your body, but I'm never going to teach you how to achieve an hourglass body shape. And my biggest reason for that is because I don't believe in them. All right. I believe that this whole conversation around body types and dressing for your body types was all a way to convince people that they needed to be thinner, that they needed to be a specific size, and they dressed it up under the guise of balance. You got to be balanced. You got to balance out the top and the bottom, and it's left all of these women feeling like if you are bottom heavy there's something wrong with you, if you're top heavy there's something wrong with you. And to take someone's body shape and attribute that to their personal style just didn't make sense to me, because there's so much more that makes up who you are and what you to express and what you want to express outside of trying to be the perfect body type, right? So I don't dress you that way. And if that's something that you like and you want, there's plenty of content on that. And I don't knock you if that's what you want, but that's just not my way of helping people to achieve their style. Because again, if my goal is to help people to break out of the rules and the stereotypes and the things that make you feel like you're not enough, I can't in good conscience then adopt a framework that is literally meant to make you feel like you're not good enough. You know what I'm saying? What do you think of Kibby? It's in the same vein as body type to you. Kibby is actually what my it's loosely based off of Kibby. What I follow, the only difference is that I don't um there's something that I do called a style test. And in the style test, I look at your face and I assess how your face looks compared to different groupings of clothes. Okay. So depending on what it is, I'll determine whether it makes you look your most beautiful, or if it's something that makes you look okay, or if it's something that makes you look pretty, but it's not like, it's not really like knocking it out the park for me. And the test is done intentionally by someone other than yourself, because people tend to look at you in a higher esteem than you do yourself. So the test has to be done with somebody else looking at you. So I've done the test before on live a couple of weeks ago. I will download that and I'll upload it so y'all can get a feel for what I'm talking about. I actually do have to make a video about that, so I got to add that to my list of content. But it's the framework, the test that I use is kind of based off of Kibby. But again, Kibby still is a little problematic for me when it goes too deep into the body stuff, like the body type stuff, because it can be accurate, but it also cannot be you, but you could still have that style, like that you could still have that style personality. So it's a little less oppressive, but I kind of still take it like loosely and lightly. One more thing that I've been exploring that I feel like explains your style is your personality when it comes to your personal brand or your brand in general. So I did a whole series on brand personalities. There's the I won't go through all of them, but there's ones like the creator, the sovereign or the ruler, the citizen, the magician. Like there's different archetypes that represent people's personalities. And so I believe that in addition to your style personality, that you may have some references or influences from your style, from your brand personality, that would inform your style. Ideal personality or current? What do you mean by that? What do you mean by ideal or current? Oh, wait, wait, wait. I think I know what you mean. So it could be a mix of both. Let me say that. For some people, they when they take the test, I got so many tests, y'all. I love tests and quizzes, if y'all can't tell. I feel like it makes you more honest. But sometimes certain aspects of your personality are stronger and it's already a part of your current, and then there are some where you have like some hints of it, but it's more of like what you want to be, and it's more aspirational because maybe you're not leaning into like the strengths of that personality as much. Or like in my case, I have one of my personalities is actually the sovereign. It's in the sovereign family. It's the ambassador. And I realized that I was resistant to the idea of being in that, having that brand personality, even though I embodied it, because I didn't like how like stuffy it felt. And it feels like one of the things that's a challenge for that personality type is that they get stuck in like tradition, and there is it's harder for them to adopt or adjust to changes and like to bring them in. And so like some of the like negative aspects of it I didn't want to relate to. I just didn't like the again, I just didn't like the way that it looked, but it is absolutely a part of my personality. Especially my desire to help find like a common ground and finding the ways that we're connected. Like that's something that I've always just been good at doing. And so it matches the ambassador. So it's a mix of both, to answer your question. Some of it is already you're there, you're really strong in this personality. My strongest one is the creator brand personality is just my personality. Like I am a creator. I know that. That's the one I've always been like super strong in. The sovereign is one that again I kind of had to like accept it and ease into it. And the best way that I can compare it is if y'all have ever watched Princess Diaries. Y'all ever watch Princess Diaries? And how like Mia, she when she found out that she was a princess, she was like, no. You can get somebody else to do it. That's how I felt about that personality. Like, no, I'm good. Like you can keep that. And so like that's I think that that's like something that if I had to guess, I feel like that's one thing that a lot of people who have that personality struggle with, like the whole idea of like accepting the responsibility of being a leader and what that means and what that represents. Like all of that can feel very like daunting, and then it might just not feel like, it might feel like it's like outdated and antiquated, like I said. And so you might not like the perception of it, but it doesn't change the fact that it's who you are. And like that's basically the conclusion that she came to. Y'all know what I'm talking about? Y'all saw it. So yeah, I know, I think y'all get what I'm saying with that. So it was kind of like that for me. Like listening to it, really like studying the personality type. I was like, dang, this is me. This is me, man. Like this is who I am. And so and how that informs my personal style. Like, let me get back to where I was going with that. So the way that that impacts my personal style, as the creative or the creator, I'm always trying to experiment with new like fun ways to dress myself. Even when it comes down to the fact that I literally have a background in fashion design. Like I love being able to express myself and create um the clothes that I want. Like I like to have things that really express my point of view. I get very frustrated if it feels like I can't have what I want. Like if I can envision it and then I can't have it, that frustrates me. So that informs my style as well, which has nothing to do with my body type, right? But then when it comes to like the sovereign, I love things like, if you think about like the typical aesthetic or things that you think about when you think about royalty, I love I love like jewel tones. I love those I have this like pair of earrings and they're gold and they have like these little like rhinestones in it, and it looks like it's like a very elegant shape to it. I love having like really like I love like just how gaudy jewelry can look sometimes. Like I like that. Like I like it to look like luxurious. I love furs. I love anything that even like looks like fur, animal prints. Like I love things that you would naturally attribute to like maybe not necessarily, you wouldn't call it a sovereign, but things that makes me look like a princess or things that make me look like royalty. I like that kind of style. Like I like that stuff. And so when I was just looking at the way that I dress and the things that I'm attracted to, I was like, okay, so I can see some influences of that as well. And so you bring all these things together, that shows how complex we are. And to try to reduce our style to something as simple as a body type, I feel is insulting because there is so much more to us and so much more that we want to be able to express. And even when it comes to what we do every day, hey y'all, when it comes to what we do every day and the different occasions that we have to dress for, the different things that we're going to, we have different ways that we want to show up and express ourselves depending on the circumstances, depending on the situation. You know what I'm saying? So there's so much, we're so much more multifaceted than what we sometimes allow ourselves to express. And just like things like that again, like the body type, dressing for your body type, stuff like that. I feel like it kind of puts you back into a box that if you want to be in the box, stay in the box. Like, I'm not going to force anybody out of it. And I'm not saying you necessarily have to. I just know that there are people that don't want to be in that box. You don't want to be categorized and minimized and told that you can't, I can't do this or I can't wear that. Like, those are things that, like, those are trigger words for me. When you tell me I can't wear something, mm-mm. Don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do that. Like, that's one way to really get on my nerves, is try to tell me what I can and can't wear. No, don't do that. So I just know that there's people that's like that. So that's who I want to help. That's who I want to target. And I want to show them that there are different opportunities and ways for you to express yourself. So the classes are going to be going on all February. So if you're here every Friday in February, it's Fashion Fridays. Oh, that's a lot of F's. Fashion Fridays. Every Friday is Fashion Friday in February. Yeah, that's right. So yeah, so we're gonna cover that. We're gonna talk about upcycling. Even with that, I'm gonna share some of like my favorite tips, but I'm also just gonna share creators that are giving the tips already, because there's a lot of dope creators who are doing some really creative stuff. I just saw somebody use temporary tattoos to decorate some forces. Have y'all seen that video? They got me one of the I'm actually, when I get off of here, I'm gonna be looking up temporary tattoos that I want to put on my shoes. But you can decorate your shoes with tattoos. Like the same tattoos that kids get and that they play with, you can decorate your shoes with it. Crazy. I had no idea. Yeah. Like, it's stuff like that that I see all the time. So um I again, like, I'll share some of like my favorite things. Like, I got some things that I do consistently to alter my clothes so that they fit better. And then I'm gonna also share some creators who have already made the content that you can try out their stuff as well. Because there people are so creative. And I don't mean that like to be funny. I mean that literally, people are so creative. Like, they come up with some of the most amazing things that I've ever seen. So yeah, I'm gonna show some of those tips. So if you are already subscribed, you're already following me, then you will definitely get this information. We'll get all this content. One thing that I do want to make sure that y'all are aware of is that if you are enjoying Fashion 101, and that if you are like learning from it and it's helping you to grow, that this will only be available publicly throughout February. All right. So while the classes are going on, I will keep everything available for everyone, but I will be moving that to a dedicated space for the people that want to continue in developing their personal style. Because like, these are like real life classes that I'm teaching. Like, I'm not just getting on here rambling. So if you implement the things that I teach you, your style will improve. Okay, that's one thing that I can tell you for sure. If you implement it, if you try out anything that I say, your style will improve. So that's it, y'all. That's it. That's what I got. I'm looking forward to it. Be on the lookout for the content that I got coming up that's going to give you even more tips, and just like some small lessons that you can take and apply. And then there's going to be a style week that we're going to have where we can put everything that we're learning into practice. So it's going to be a bunch of fun stuff, a bunch of fun things happening. So be on the lookout for it. Make sure you're connected to me. Make sure you're following. And that's it, y'all. Y'all have an amazing week. Y'all have a great week. I don't know when I'm going to be live again before Friday, but it should be one of these days. So I'll be on again. So, keep your eye out for that. I can't give you a date just yet, but I hope that this week is a great start to Black History Month. It's a great week for you to just pour into yourself wherever you need to. There's a couple, let me think, because I want to be intentional about this part. You're so welcome, Sev. I want to be intentional about this part. Okay. So let me see. So I want this to be my prayer for this week for you, and my hope for this week is that it is a week where you are experiencing peace, where you're experiencing peace, where you are experiencing joy, where you are able to pour into yourself in a meaningful way, even if it don't feel like it's a complete pour, okay? Like even if it don't feel like it's doing everything that you needed to do, because January was a long year. I already know. January was a long year. So we probably got a lot. I mean, a lot to try to recover from. But I pray that this week is the first week where it kind of feels like you can bring your head up above water. And I pray that this is a week where you have the answer to some of the prayers that you have been holding on to for a long time. Like I pray that this is the week where you start to see some movement, and where you start to see some answers, where you start to see some resources, where you start to get some of those yeses that you need, some of that money that you need, some of that support that you need. I pray that this is that time. Thank you so much for the gift. That's Samantha. Thank you, Samantha. I pray that this is that week for you. Not only because you deserve it, but because I feel like it's something that we need. Like we need this. We need a win. We need a break. We need something that just lets us see that like there is some light, there is some joy, there is some goodness. Thank you, Sev. I appreciate that. So that's my prayer for y'all. And if you're here and you're listening, then I'm already going to say that it's so. I believe it for you. And if you're watching this and you're watching the replay of it, then the same applies to you. This is going to be that time. So that's what I want. That's what I want this week to be. Love y'all real bad. Thank you for hanging out with me, participating in another one of my random challenges. And I'll talk to y'all later.